Welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And you're going to see me in a minute, so you will see us in a minute. Just bear with us. Today was one of those days of technical difficulties. Yay, here we are. Hi, Kirubai. How are you doing?
I'm well, Elizabeth. Despite the weather, I
Let's not talk about the weather.
let's not talk about the weather the last 3 days. But I shall tell you this. I need to punch this line. The last 3 days was rather miserable, but
Oh,
we
dear.
make best use of the misery. We turn it to joy in whatever we can do, and
Absolutely.
I'm happy. I'm grateful that we had this rain. Like one of my friends, she always says, "Oh, you know what? Even the plants, the trees all need water." So it's
They
three
do.
days of good uh, downpour. So the plants and the trees, the vegetation, the grass must be happy.
They're having a
Yeah,
party.
they're having a party. Yeah, it's good to be back again for this week. Yeah, we apologize for this late start. We had to do a little bit of technical work at the background. Thanks to Elizabeth's quick thinking, she's very good at this. And yeah, here we are, and we are happy to be here. Happy to bring another episode. So, Elizabeth, last week it was International Women's Day.
It was,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was exciting. Did you do anything exciting, Elizabeth?
Well, before I tell you a bit about what I did, just honestly, to all the women out there,
Oh, yes.
we celebrate you. We celebrate you. Thank you for the amazing work that you are doing to serve in your communities, to serve the different generations that you are serving. Like this world wouldn't be the same without you. So we celebrate you. What did I do for International Women's Day? So I was invited to speak in a hospital.
Mm.
Interestingly, it was in a mental health ward. So it was very interesting. I wasn't sure what to expect. Um, but yeah, I said yes, I'll do it. And they wanted me to come and talk a little bit about self-care, and just help the people to sort of help the women particularly to understand just the benefit of self-care and why they need to make it a top priority. So it was really good, and it was nice to see that it wasn't just the patients who were sitting down and getting involved. The staff were also getting involved in it. The doctors were sitting down and listening in to what we were talking about. So it was really good, and I met some amazing women, and yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to serve. So yeah,
I'm sure you did a smashing job of
I did my best,
connect,
Kirpai.
to connect with these, um, you know, challenged challenged women in their thought processes. I'm sure they must have enjoyed your punch of words, and you know you're very animated. Why am I not getting this word? Animated,
Just take your time. Take your time.
animated. You're always very expressive, and yeah, I'm sure they enjoyed it. They also need some time of refreshing, listening to someone else outside their the hospital. And self-care is indeed important as
Mm.
patients. Yeah.
And you know what? For some of them, it's one of those things that they just needed to feel like it was a safe space, and
Mm.
that they could talk and be heard and be listened to, because we all have to deal with like mental health. We all have to deal with it. And if we don't look after our well-being, our mental health can suffer.
Hmm.
So we put a lot of emphasis on physical health, but this is also very valid.
Yeah.
And if you don't look after yourself, it affects your mental well-being. And then a lot of things happen as a result of that. So just being in that room and being able to speak to the women was very, I felt very honored, to just be able to do it, and especially to people who are struggling with their mental health.
Mm.
So it was a really good conversation to have, a really good talk, and it was nice to even hear the doctors or the medical staff coming back to say, I really enjoyed that. I need to do more looking after myself. I need to learn to take a break, like intentionally, because
Mm.
we all do that. We get busy, 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 busy. We're busy working. We're busy doing amazing things. We're busy changing the world. But are we looking after ourselves?
Well, if this breaks down, then you can't serve others.
You can't.
Yeah. So you got to be a top priority is yourself.
There you go. But yeah, Kiraba, you were part of another event, so tell us all about it.
Yeah, that was actually it was a collaborative International Women's Day in Pimlico.
Mm-hmm.
It was hosted by a couple of organizations, and it was I don't know whether you've heard of this Pimlico Million. It's a very big organization,
Mm-hmm.
and they collaborated with Westminster Council and Abbey Center, where we did some work with them,
Mm-hmm.
and also another couple of organizations, the local organizations, where they got together a room full of people. I think it was well attended. We had nearly about 90 women.
Oh wow, that's
Yes,
amazing.
and it was very well organized. They had a session in the morning, and they also had a session, a gathering in the evening. I just went for the morning,
Okay.
and there were many different activities. They were having manicures and massages, and
I should have come.
oh yeah, and I'm so sorry, Elizabeth. I don't know. I was in this impression that you had something on in that morning, and lots of food, drinks, good music, and yeah, and I brought, I had to share on sustainable fashion. I talked about how you could shop sustainably in vintage shops, charity shops, and
Mm-hmm.
still look $1 million. And I think the crowd enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm at my element when I style women. So it
You
was
are.
great. So it was really great. I illuminate. I enjoy it. So it was lovely making other women look confident and
Mm.
stylish and put together in a very limited time. But it was good because it was plowing into the community.
Mm.
I always say, everybody is entitled to look good and confident.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So, and to engage a stylist is not a privilege, I tell you, because
Mm.
on the long run, it kind of um, saves a lot of money and saves a lot of trouble putting your clothes together or keeping your wardrobe visible so you can see what's in the wardrobe. So there's so many different things that many people think, oh, stylist, I can't afford it. But in the long run, if you put that couple of uh, pounds aside now, in the long run with credit crunch, you save so much.
Mm. Mm.
That's my little
No,
plug today.
Kiraba, we should do a session,
Yeah.
um, or just even a conversation here on
Yes.
styling. And the format it would take is that I would interview you.
All right, we can do that.
Yeah, so that we can talk a bit about styling,
Yeah.
and just give people a snippet of what you do and what it's about, because I think some people don't realize how what they wear can affect them.
Mm, so true.
Mm.
And it's really, I mean, especially now with credit crunch, people pay less attention to what they wear. But you know what? You can always give give a new life, a new spin on what you have in your wardrobe and look $1 million.
Mm. I remember, this is not what we're talking about today, but hey, we're in the flow, so let's go with it. I remember one time a friend of mine saying that she was a mom of two, and she was having to deal with the kids every day by herself, and she just said to me, "Your earrings always look so nice.
Mm.
How do you manage to like put everything together?" I said, "They're just earrings. Like, I just choose a nice earring. I love my nice colorful earrings. I've got the little ones here today, but they've got like all the colors on them, and it just adds a little bit of oomph." And I said, "You don't have to struggle to look nice and feel nice. If the things in your wardrobe are not helping you to feel nice, let's get rid of them, and let's revamp the wardrobe so that you wear some." And just because you are in a season of your life where you're being a mom and serving your kids amazingly, doesn't mean you always have to wear like the baggy clothes, the clothes that make you feel like, "Oh, I'm just a mom." No, you can be a hot mama, you can be a mom who looks good.
Yeah.
So just because you're going through a particular season and it's a tough season, you don't have to dress like your season. Dress like where you're going. They say it, so I'm going to say it to somebody. Dress like where you're going. So where is it that you want to go? Start dressing for that. What is that role you want, that job that you want? Start dressing for it. Start showing up like you are already there, because by doing that, you are calling it forth. You are manifesting it, dare I say.
Yeah, why not? Yes.
Anyway,
That's
that's a little bit of a spill. So one of these days, we're going to have a whole conversation on fashion and the do's and don'ts, the colors, because Kiruba is amazing at this. So watch the space. That conversation is coming up very soon. Now, we were talking a little bit about International Women's Day and some of the stuff that we did. So before we go on with our conversation, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we are up to this weekend, because we're still celebrating International Women's Day, aren't we, Kirubai?
That's right. That's right.
We are. So I'm going to play a video, and after the video, I'll give you a little bit more information, and we will carry on with today's conversation. So here goes. Enjoy.
Transformational change comes from the renewal of your mind and your heart. Willpower and strength alone are not enough. You need God power. So join us. Listen and learn from senior women leading well in the workplace, and step into transformational change for your own life and leadership.
So that was a little preview, a video, a promo for the Wise Well Women Summit happening on the 15th and 16th of March. So that's Friday and Saturday. Just to give you some insight, Friday we're having a celebration worship night. A celebration worship night on the Friday. So you do not want to miss it. And you know what? It's a women's event, but for the worship night, the celebration night, men are invited. We just need to fill up the place. So men are invited to join us for that. And then on the Saturday, it's exclusive to women. Women only. If you identify as a woman, on Saturday, the 16th of March, you need to join us at the Wise Well Women Summit at St. Paul's Centre in Hammersmith, London. So for those who are out of London, if you can travel in, the more the merrier. Let's get this party started. Yeah, let's travel in and come and join as we celebrate International Women's Day. And myself and Kirubai are privileged to be running a workshop that particular day. Kirubai, do you want to say a little bit about what the workshop's about?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm excited. I'm really excited. And we're going to talk about bringing your fruit to the workplace. And what is this fruit that we're going to talk about? The 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. And I think we all need to be equipped with the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. And Elizabeth, I do not know you can see this or not. You see, I've done all.
I see it.
Yeah. So we're going to talk. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit, and why is it important to exercise and build and show our character at the workplace. So our character is tied up to the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit. And the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit is, it's the fruit. They call it the fruit. And are you a person bearing good fruits, or are you a person bearing bad, rotten fruits?
So it's about the fruit that we are bearing, not the fruit that we are showing? Or is it a bit of both?
I think when I'm saying bearing, it's some of these fruits, you cultivate over time.
Ooh, okay.
And some of it, it's part and parcel of your nature. But you know what? When we put on Christ, we put on his nature. So we are cultivating this fruit to bear much fruits. And to add another aspect of this is, the Bible very clearly says, if you do not bear fruit, he said he will chop you off, prune, and chop. I mean, he says, put the axe to the roots. So I'm not going to scare you, but you know what? We are all work in progress. What I was 20 when I was 20 and what I am now when I'm 60 doesn't, there's a long transition that took place. I've changed. But you know something, Elizabeth, as I deal with women in general, some of them still hold on to their old nature and character. And that saddens me, because we all are work in progress and we all need to work on these things.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So, coming back to the subject, how are you going to show your fruit when you are under the pressure cooker? When you are in the pressure cooker.
A pressure cooker.
Yeah, a pressure cooker, because when you are under pressure, how are you going to handle yourself? Especially at the workplace, because people are watching. People are watching you. How you respond.
People are watching.
People are watching. And Elizabeth, I know we both of us have, left the corporate world a long time. But you know what? As being coaches in this coaching environment, our coaches are also looking at us. So everyone is watching each other. And it's a good thing. It also keeps us in check.
Yeah. And you know what, Kirubai, just to add to that, like, this conversation is not just relevant to the workplace or business, but it's life, because we face pressurized situations day to day. Like, you could be out and about and something happens. There are people that say driving in London, is a test of character. Like, how do you react when someone cuts you in? Like, you're in a rush going somewhere and someone cuts in the traffic, or there's this person crossing the road and they're taking their time and the light is not even red for you to stop. It's green. You're supposed to be going, but there's this person just probably on their phone and they're not. But like, how do you react?
And worse still, if you have your children in the car, they're watching.
They are watching. They're watching. And this reminds me of a story which I think I've shared a couple of times before, but I'm going to share it again and I'm going to cut it short. But it reminds me of a story where this is real life. So me and my husband went to this area. We were going to help a friend. Ooh, hi, Pauline. Thank you for joining us. We were going to help out a friend with their church services. So it was a Sunday afternoon. We drove to the area and we were looking for somewhere to park, and there was this really narrow street that everyone tries to park in. So forget the residents, like people coming, there's loads of churches in that area. And so people come and park on that street. So this particular day, this woman blocked somebody's driveway, somebody's garage. Wow. So they couldn't come out. And this guy had to go to work. So by the time we got there and managed to find a space, we see these guys like standing around this car, and we're wondering what's going on. And the guy's like, I'm trying to go to work. I want to go to work, but this person has parked in front of my driveway, so I can't come out. And honestly, I put myself in his shoes and I was frustrated. I was like, why would anybody do that? And the thing is, and the reality is, that person was in church somewhere, lifting up holy hands and praising God, and Thanksgiving Sunday or whatever they were doing, while they've blocked someone's driveway and this person's trying to get to work. So me and my husband are feeling sorry for this guy, and we're like sitting there trying to talk to them. And this guy was like, if I was an evil person, I would have damaged her car. I would have slashed her tires. I would have done so much damage to it right now. But I'm not that sort of person. And his friends were there telling him, do it, do it, do it. They were egging him on. But he didn't do it. Hi, God's will. Thank you for joining us.
Oh.
So his friends were egging him on and saying, do it. But he wasn't. He was waiting for the person. And I'm like, there's so many churches here. Where do you even start looking for this person? So eventually, this lady comes strolling with her kids and some friends. And we look at her and we're like, excuse me, you realize that you blocked this guy's driveway and he is trying to get to work. Kirubai, she was not apologetic at all.
Oh, what a shame.
She was not apologetic. And then she turns to me and Tunji, because we're the ones that confronted her. She turns to me and Tunji and she says, why are you guys siding with him? And we're like, hello? You're the one in the wrong. But because she was black and we're black, she thought we were siding. Because this guy was Caucasian. And so she looks at us, she's like, why are you even siding with him? Kirubai, I was getting so frustrated and I was trying to like speak sense to her. And then she started insulting me and Tunji wanted to fight her. It was so dramatic. It was so dramatic. And we had Janaya in our hands. But it was, I walked away. So eventually she moves her car and this guy drives off because he was already late for work. But like, just look at that scenario. This is someone proudly saying she's a Christian. She's just walked out of church, probably praising God. And yet her behavior is not acceptable. It doesn't align with the Bible that she's supposedly living her life by. It doesn't align with the standard the Bible sets. So when we're talking about like the fruit of the Spirit, how does that show up when you're under pressure? Like, she wasn't even under pressure, but yet she showed who she really is.
She felt very entitled, you see.
Yeah, she did. And I was just like, how rude can you be? Yeah, Pauline, wow, that was my expression. When she said, why are you siding with him? I'm like, is she okay? Is she okay? But anyway, that's a little bit of an intro. Kirubai, do you want to like take it away?
I think people are very blasé. They are not aware of the surrounding. And I think as Christians, we have to be very conscientious about our surroundings, our people, and people in general. It can be people in church, people at workplace, people at home, our family, our closest. They know our character and nature thoroughly. We can't pretend. But I think the awareness is we have to be sensitive to our surroundings, and especially in public, where most of us, we travel by tube or the bus, and being courteous. I get this all the time. Sometimes when I travel in a crowded tube, and young guys and girls, they sit at the first seat where you are supposed to give it to the elderly. I like that reminder, wheat and tares. So, so and there could be a elderly man or a woman even carrying the walking stick, and people are so oblivious. They don't give the seat to that person. And if I see it, I'll tell them, hey, can you please get up? Can you please give this gentleman a seat, or this gentle lady a seat? Because sometimes people don't want to be very forward in asking. But nowadays, even for me, with my salt and pepper hair, people immediately stand up and give me a seat. And probably that's one of the advantages having a salt and pepper hair. But sometimes it is good for us to stand up for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's really fine. And actually, we are showing kindness to that person.
That's what I was gonna say. It doesn't have to cost you. Like, when we talk about like character, it shows up day to day. It shows up, and whether or not people are watching, because Kiruba, I know you mentioned about like people watching. But there are people who do things in secret thinking nobody's watching. But even the things you do in secret will at some point come to light.
Yeah, it's exposed.
So whatever you're doing in secret, like if people could see what you're doing, would you still be happy? Does it reflect who you are? Does it reflect the character that you want people to see of you? So even when I remember one time, someone gave a story about, people being in a plane. And I don't know whether the story was true or not, but I'm borrowing the story. People were in a plane, and all of a sudden, like, there was some bumpy moves in the plane. And there was a guy who was supposedly a religious person. And all of a sudden, he started like, all the F words came out of his mouth.
Wow.
And it's like, wait, you're dressed as a religious person. You look like someone who's very religious. And when I say religious, let me say maybe a person of faith. But the words that were being uttered, because he was in that pressured moment, did not reflect what his look showed, if that makes sense. I know we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but like just like listen to the story and take something from it. So like in those pressurized moments, what comes out? Because what comes out is a reflection of what's inside. That's what it is. So if what comes out is anger and abuse and greed and all these negative things, then we need a character check, like we talked about last time.
This week, yeah. I mean, the world speaks the language, and it's so acceptable to speak foul language. Everybody speaks it. Men, women, children even use it. But if you call yourself a child of the Most High God, then we need to watch what we say. And one of our situations we're going to share is about gossip, and whether we are gossiping, whether we were building that Tower of Babel of gossip and tearing someone down. It's so common in the church, in the workplace, at home. We are gossiping about our relatives and stuff like that. But sometimes gossip is, yes, it costs nothing, but it can break some people's spirit.
Yeah.
So it's a vicious circle. And I like what you said about we need to check our hearts. With all honesty, those who are listening out there, we are all his workmanship, called for good works, called for such a time as this, to shine. I love what Elizabeth says, show up and shine for Jesus. But you know what? let not the light that we are supposed to shine dim because our characters are not in place.
Yeah.
We can't hide what's inside. Some or other, when under pressure, it comes out. And that's what we are talking about today.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. So have this character check. Those who go to church, those who read the word, the word always convicts
Mm.
and it builds.
Mm.
And and the Lord Jesus wants us to be his children. And to be like Jesus is more, I'm reminded of this chorus, to be like Jesus.
I don't know it.
Oh, it's a very old.
You're giving away your age, Kirubai.
All right. And I have forgotten the words. It's a very old chorus that we used to sing in Sunday school. But you know what? It's a very sobering thought. Sobering thought. Friends, do that check, like a health check. Do a character check.
Yeah.
And do this prayer. Ask the Lord to, every time you falter in your character, to remind you where you need to change, and he will work with you.
And you know what? Don't be embarrassed to do the character check, because we're all a work in progress. So we're all learning and growing. And I don't think anyone can say that they have reached the height of their character, like their character is super perfect. There's nothing that needs changing. I don't think there's anyone on this planet Earth who could say that. So we're all working towards getting better. At least we should be working towards getting better. You know, and as you were talking, I was reminded just of how people tell lies, just dishonesty, and you don't realize that this lie can hurt somebody. And when we think about the fruit of the Spirit, and Kirba, I was going to ask you to like break it down, the fruit of the Spirit, just to tell us what are the different bits, because you've got the chats out there.
Let me bring it out. I just prepared it today, and Robert was so kind to do it for me.
Oh, thank you, Robert. But because it's this fruit of the Spirit, and for those that don't know, find a Bible, go on Google and type the fruit of the Spirit, and it will give you, it will tell you the verse in the Bible. It's Galatians 5:22-23, but it will tell you what the fruit is made up of, because it's, it doesn't say the fruits of the Spirit, it says the fruit of the Spirit. So when the Spirit is working in you and on you, this is what we should see. We should see love, we should see kindness, we should see joy. We should see all the amazing other ones that Kiruba is going to put up at some point.
and we see kindness.
Kindness, exactly. And there's a lot of talk out there, and in fact the talk is not even by people of faith. It's just people talking about being kind. Like, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Like, what acts of kindness can you do every day when you go out? I was walking in, I think it was in London Bridge Station, and there's some really good kind of affirmations and uplifting words that have been put up, and it's literally they put up something to say it's just sprinkling a bit of kindness, and I was like, oh, this is so nice. And
like magic dust. Yeah,
magic dust. And being kind could just be giving a word of encouragement to somebody. Being kind could look like opening the door. Love. What does love look like when you are in a pressurized situation? Do you walk in love? Do you act in love? What does love look like in that moment? When you have a boss at work, a manager at work who is behaving in a way they shouldn't behave, and who is belittling you, or someone at work who is stealing your ideas and calling them their own, what do you do? How do you react? How does the fruit of the Spirit show forth? Peace. Are you somebody who brings peace, or you're always the one that is destroying the peace?
Or bringing strife, huh?
You bring strife. What does that look like? Because we all go through situations. Life happens. People happen. Today, as I was walking on this road, it didn't happen to me, but I saw it happen to somebody. A car came and just drove into this paddle, and the water splashed in this man's face. And I was like, ooh. But if that was me, how would I react?
Mm-hmm.
If that was you, how would you react?
All the colorful language would have come out.
Like, what comes out? What comes out? It's a reflection of what's inside. Remember, what comes out is only a reflection of what's inside.
There is a scripture that I'm reminded, out of the mouth of the abundance.
Out of the abundance of
your mouth, your mouth. Yeah, out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. So I mean, yeah, that is very relatable. Yes.
Because our character is evident in the things that we say, the things that we do. People can see our character. So you might not need to come and announce, oh, I'm kind. Oh, I show love. Oh, I do this. I bring peace. I'm a person of joy. You might not need to say all those things. You don't need to announce it. We can see it in the way you look. Pauline, I love your honesty. I would be crying. I love your honesty. Right. Patience. That's a good one, because like when you are in those moments, and you know what, patience is a really interesting one, because I remember like when there's a situation stressing you, let's say you're going on a journey, and this is real situation. You get to the airport, there's such a long queue. They're not telling you what's happening. They're not giving you any information. Like, what do? Do you get frustrated? Like for me, I put on the customer service hat and I'm like, this organization, what is it doing for us? How is it serving the customers? We've paid for a service. We're not getting the service. So what does that look like? Am I being impatient? I don't think so. I think I'm just stating the facts. But hey, maybe I need to be a bit more patient.
Yeah, I mean, when you start praying for patience, and then there will be so many situations the Lord arranges, in front of us that, there is every trying point in our lives that, we have to exercise patience. I have gone through that. So, never, it's quite a dangerous prayer to pray for the fruit, actually. That's a word of warning, but you know what? It is good.
It's good, yeah.
It is good.
And, relationships, whether with our spouses, whether with family members, just relationships in general, they will test your character. They will test your character. It's worse with relationships with people who are close to you. It can test your character. Goodness, like what's oozing out of you? Are you one of those people that you walk into a room and everyone's like,
trouble has walked in.
Trouble has walked in. Or do you walk into the room and there's something different that you bring into the space?
Mm-hmm.
There's something different you bring into relationships. There's something different you bring into the workspace. What are you bringing into the workplace? What are you bringing into the different relationships that you have? The fruit of the Spirit is going to help us to bring the right things. Faithfulness. Who doesn't want somebody who's faithful? I want friends around me who are faithful. People in business will tell you don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Why? Because some people have not been faithful.
True.
That's not a good character trait. And I'm going to say it. For people of faith, if you brag about being a person of faith, let your character reflect the faith you're bragging about. Let your character reflect. Because there's some people, and you see them sometimes in the workplace, and they say they're people of faith, and you think, oh, there's my brother, there's my sister. But you see the way they're behaving, and you're like, maybe not quite my brother, not quite my sister. You question, like, is it the same faith? Are we of the same faith, different faith? No faith, some faith? Being like when people see us, like, yes, they see you, but they're seeing your family, they're seeing your background, they're seeing a whole lot of different things that you're bringing to the table. For some of you, you're representing communities by just being in the room that you're in, the workplace that you're in. You're representing communities. Now, that said, let's just sidetrack a little to what's been in the news, right? About what this Tory, I was going to say gentleman, but it's not a gentleman with what he said. Now, I had heard that there was some racist comment that had gone out, but I didn't see what it was or hear or read what it was. But today I looked at the headline and I was like, anyone in their right mind knows not to say something like that. Now that character check.
Yeah.
That's you don't say such things and expect to get away with it.
But his own party people
I'm not holding him accountable.
Yeah, they're not, but yet, there are also people who are speaking against it in his party. They are asking for an explanation. Why did he do that?
And it doesn't matter how high you rise. You've still got to be a person of good character. Like, you cannot bribe somebody and say, oh, because I'm high up in this level, then I don't have to be a person of good character. No. We all, no matter what level we are in the food chain, no matter what level we are in the rat race, we have to be people of good character. And, your character is going to be the name, the reputation that follows you.
That's true.
Gentleness. Are you somebody who is gentle? Or are you just rash and harsh and rough and like you don't care?
I mean, this is something that's it's a difficult word because sometimes people take advantage of this gentleness, especially in the workplace. You can be gentle yet assertive.
Ooh.
You can always you can always send a message that don't mess with me by being assertive and yet holding on to being gentle. You can look very meek and timid, but you know what? Don't mess about with people like that, because being assertive and yet gentle, I think it's a highly desired quality.
Yeah.
And finally, last but not least,
self-control. And you know what? You know how we say that all these things are evident? Like, your self-control is evident. Your self-control or lack of self-control is very, honestly, these fruits cannot be hidden. This fruit cannot be hidden. It is evident. So how are we seeing self-control in your life when you're in a pressurized situation? Like when you know that what you want to say is like, I'm going to eat this person alive. Are you able to control yourself a little and just count to 10? Count to 10. Count to 10.
Yeah, count to 10.
Self-control.
Your mouth speaks quicker than your mind.
Yeah, you end up reacting with emotions, not with you don't think it through properly. Self-control will help you not to get in some tricky situations with this thing. Seriously, it will help you. It's not everything that needs to be said. Some things, let them stay there. Although, the Bible says that even when you've thought about it, it's as good as. But some things don't need to be said. Just hold yourself back, rein yourself in, anchor yourself. So you don't have to say things that are going to cost you, things that you will regret. I think there was someone that works in government in, was it Australia or New Zealand, a few weeks ago. And there was a picture of him that went around, and he was sort of, I think he was drunk or something, and he was lying on the streets, and everyone was like, what's going on in this picture? And he was having to explain the picture. And that was obviously affecting his position. And this is why I say that no matter, and I think Pauline said something in lines with it, that no matter how high this particular political person has climbed, he's not been able to disguise his dark character. And you cannot, your title does not hide your character. Your title is not a cover-up for bad character.
Hide behind your title.
Neither is it a license for bad character. Just because you think that you have made it to the top level doesn't mean you treat people like dirt. Doesn't mean you step on people's heads. Doesn't mean you step on their toes. Doesn't mean you steal their ideas just because you're in a position of power. That's not what leadership is. It's not. Character.
If your response, just take a work in a workplace, and if you respond differently from your colleagues, then you actually stand out. You stand out like a candle in the dark, and people will see your light.
And don't be one of those people who's a person of good character at church, then a person of bad character at home, then a person of good character at work, because of course you're getting paid. Then you come back at home, you're a monster. No. Because one day they will see that monster at work, at church, wherever it is that you hang out. That monster will come out.
You might be standing outside and shouting at your husband, and your colleague might see, or your church member might see, oh my God, is she this person? And it'll be all revealed.
No, honestly, and I like, Pauline, I like what you're saying, and I think we had a conversation about this. Our emotion can get us in trouble sometimes when we react fast with emotion rather than with logic. So character is so important. It's so important. You can be, person in wherever, high up above everyone else, but it doesn't mean that you behave in a nasty way, because your nastiness is going to bring you down.
And I'm a firm believer, the only person who can help you change that character is Jesus. The one who has wonderfully made you know your inward parts. And he is able to bring forth that beauty that is marred and masked of that bad character that's in you. He wants to bring out the best in you. Yes, there are so many motivational books, so many books out there that, beat around the bush about, you have to change your character and that and this and that and this. But you know what? The Bible is the only book, the love letter that Jesus wrote to us, that can change us. I'm very evidently telling you this because, people might say I'm biased. I'm a Christian, so I talk about the Bible, but no other holy book except the Bible.
So I think we're literally going to close on that note. But we would love for you to join us this weekend at the Wise Well Women Summit. And as we close, we're going to play it. We'll close with it. If you know some women in and around London, share this information with them. Share this video with them. And invite them to come and be, they can come along with you, or you can come by yourself. I say to someone the other day, I say, bring a friend along. And she said, you know what? I don't want any distractions, so I'm coming by myself. She said, I can share it, but I'm not bringing anyone along because I don't want to be distracted. And sometimes we need to get into spaces where there's no more distractions and we can just listen, learn, and be empowered and inspired. And that's what this weekend is going to be about. It's about celebrating, but it's also about, empowering women. It's about learning. There's going to be some keynote speakers, and one of the keynote speakers is an expert in AI. I want to know about AI because this conversation is just very interesting. There's going to be conversations around work-life balance, conversations around being emotionally healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's different workshops, and we're going to do some dancing as well. So I'm looking forward to it, and we would love for you to join us. And if you do come, just come and say hello.
Hello, yes, that's right. We might not be able to recognize you, but you know what? You recognize us. We are week in, week out on a Tuesday, 7:00, talking our hearts out. And come and say hello. We would love to take a selfie with you.
Pauline, make sure you're there then. Make sure you're there for the conversation. It's going to be a good one.
Does Pauline live in London?
She does. She lives in London.
Oh, I'm looking forward to meeting you, Pauline.
Pauline, we talked about this yesterday, and I know you said the event starts really early for you, but hopefully you can make it at some point in the day. But it's going to be an amazing event, ladies, and I've shared the link. So click on the link, get your ticket, register, send the link out to somebody else, and let's fill up the space. Let's all come together and let's learn. Let's be inspired. Kirubai, do you have anything more to say?
No, I'm all geared up and excited.
Awesome.
For the weekend.
Awesome, lovely. I've got another International Women's Day event during the week before that. So it's going to be a bit of a busy one over the next couple of days. But ladies, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's watching today, based on what we've talked about, take some time to reflect on your character and how you react in different situations, particularly when you are under pressure. When you're under pressure at work, at home, in your community, at school, wherever it is that you serve, how do you react when you're under pressure? Does your character reflect the faith that you say that you're part of? Or does it even just reflect good character? If it doesn't, then join the club, because we all have some work to do. We all have some work to do. So I'm going to share the video, and we will literally close out on that. But just as we do, this was our 60th episode, Kirubai.
Well done. Well done, partner.
Well done. Oh, thank you, Pauline. Thank you for being part of our conversation today. Thank you for being part of it. Awesome. Let's play the video and we will be out. So I think this is where we say good night.
Good night.
And we'll play the video.
Transformational change comes from the renewal of your mind and your heart. Willpower and strength alone are not enough. You need God power. So join us. Listen and learn from senior women leading well in the workplace, and step into transformational change for your own life and leadership.